Hey, welcome to A Dose of Rags, episode 16. Whew, time is flying. I know you guys haven't seen us for a few weeks. Apology. We unfortunately weren't able to record a live episode, but we'll get there one day. We want to apologize. Listen, if the three viewers we have, we're sorry, but we're going to be back. We're going to be consistent. We're going to be here every week till the end of the year. That's a promise from us. So no more delays. Anyway, folks, it is almost November. So we all know Halloween, whatever holiday is here, season. Is it a season? Is it officially a season, Halloween? I feel like it is for some people.
I guess so. Why not? I mean, in Halloween season, they got Halloween seasonal stores that open strictly for Halloween. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a season. You know what I mean? And, for me, Halloween as a kid, I was a fat kid. So it was my favorite holiday by far, But the thing was, so my parents used to limit my candy, right? So they'd give me one or two candies a day. It was so Indian of them. And I mean, when you have a whole sack, you know what I mean? Like, you have hundreds of candies. We grew up in the suburbs, right? Everybody's giving out candy. I mean, it is so depressing. The first night I get to eat like 5, and you, my little fat ass, was shoving them in my sweatpants, whatever I was wearing, to hide a few. But yeah, so let me first ask you guys this: were your parents cheap with the candy?
Hell yeah! My parents were cheap.
Like, what was the policy?
I think actually my mom did realize that you have to buy the individual wrapped one. She opened up like a pack of like those peanut things that weren't individually wrapped, and she tried to hand those things out, and people were like throwing out. I was like, "Mom, get through shit like that." Well, you know what I mean?
The worst family on the block would be the Dum Dum family. In our neighborhood, I don't know if you guys remember, they always gave out Dum Dums, bro. Freaking Dum Dums.
They did. Now, my parents weren't necessarily cheap when it came to allowing me to eat my candy. I mean, obviously there were some restrictions. This doesn't look good. This looks ugly. You can't have that. Fine. But my parents were weird when it came to giving out candy. My mom, one year passed out raisins for Halloween, and I bumped into one of my buddies.
That's extremely Persian of her.
I bumped into one of our buddies, around the neighborhood. It was like, "Dose, I just got to your house. I just went to your house. Your mom gave us raisins."
Oh, God.
So much disappointment.
Bro, that is so depressing. And so wait, she was giving out raisins. Was she like putting them in a little sandwich bag, or was she like putting it on your mouth like a piece of like an acid?
No, those little packs of raisin, some made raisins, whatever.
So she was actually being she's being like health conscious, right?
She was. That was her defense. I'm being health conscious. Yes, it's healthy.
White people be like, wait, them brown people gave you the raisin box, which is easy as shit to open and close. Like, you can easily taint those. You know what I'm saying? Raisins are, man. You know what I love? I know this is going off tangent just for a second, though. Goddamn Raisin Bran. Just the raisins, when they're just like pressed with sugar, it's almost like a drug, right? It's just like delicious.
Well, I got a text from a buddy today who shared this new cereal that he just got. It is sponsored by the Kelseys. It's called Kelsey Mix. It is Reese's Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Lucky Charms all in one box together.
Wow, that's pretty good. You know what's weird? I don't see how the marshmallows could go along with. I guess with I don't know. Fat thoughts again. You know. I mean, isn't it crazy though that all cereal is actually bad for you? Every single one. It's shit food. They've been feeding us crap.
Yeah.
Ugh, but
you heard about what's going on with Kellogg's right now, right? The boycott of Kellogg's.
Oh yeah, I think I have heard of that because of Israel.
No. So what Kellogg's refuses to, Kellogg's US, they refuse changing their formula to match their standards in other countries. We have so many more like toxic materials, ingredients. And if you look, just go to their Instagram page. It's being flooded with people like they're saying they refuse to eat any Kellogg's products. They're just outright refuse changing their formula because it's cheaper.
I mean, people shouldn't be eating it anyway. It shouldn't be called a freaking boycott. Put the company out of business. I mean, at the end of the day, that is the worst food you can give to a kid. they crash. You crash like a half hour after eating this shit.
Shitload of health problems. Yeah.
Anyway, going back to Halloween, guys. So let's go to what was your favorite candy to receive on Halloween? And by the way, there were some rich white people that would give out the full bars. And goddamn, that's a good dad. You know what I'm saying?
My favorites then are still my favorites today. I that gives out the Reese's peanut butter cups, and I love Mounds and Almond Joys.
Ew.
Oh my God, you were the. Ew. I wondered who the fuck liked them. Now I know.
Give me all of them, Mounds and Almond Joys. Those are all for me. Bro, I love them.
I would give those to my brothers. I'd be like, "You guys got it all, baby."
I'd do trades for them.
I'm gonna tell my kids to put those aside for Uncle Jay for going forward.
Yes.
So Reese's Pieces, everyone loves a Reese's cup, right?
The peanut butter cup. Yeah.
I mean, it is just for me. That was probably what got me fat when I was a kid. You know, it's so many of those. I mean, you just pop them.
Yeah.
They melt, bro. Oof. I was so fat that I would just be shoving them in my mouth, not even tasting them. You know what I mean? Just shoveling them down my throat. And I'm
swallow
just
now, taste later.
And it was actually the act of like shoving like freaking chocolate into my mouth, and it would just completely go. It was like a freaking assembly line, you know. Just keep it moving. But yeah, so for me, it was definitely a Reese's cup, but I think Hershey's almonds, you know, those are the favorite American candies. Now, if we're talking international, and you had some weird, you know, English or French people on the block, which we did once in a while. We had actually across the street we had British people, and then also had Frenchie. You guys remember Frenchie Dose, right? We literally called him Frenchie.
Dave.
His name was Dave. I forgot his name, but we used to torture this poor kid. Oh my God, we made him play American football. He had no idea what was going on, and we would literally yell at him all day, Frenchie. But yeah, I would like the Cadbury too. That Cadbury.
The Cadbury's so clutch, so good. Cadbury, Reese's peanut butter cups, Twix.
You know what's crazy is all three of us were in the same neighborhood at some level, getting candy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, Rags, that thing with my mom not having the individual wrapped ones, I remember just thinking that it was you and someone else on Halloween. My mom handed that out, you took it and threw it. You're like, I'm not eating that shit. It's not wrapped. I swear on my life, I have a vivid imagination. And then I told my mom, you gotta hand out wrapped candies. You can't hand out the shit. It was you and some other dude in a sleeping bag. No costume. You guys are too old to be trick-or-treating. You and your boy, no costume, with 2 pillowcases.
Bro,
I'm going around getting free candy.
Hold up. Wait, who are you with? Who are you trick or treating with no costume, Max?
I have no.
I don't remember exactly who, but I remember him and his boy walked around with pillowcases, no costumes on.
We would just burn and go out and get candy. I mean,
yep.
Bro, you know it's crazy. My costume almost every year, after I was like maybe 10 or 11 years old, was bum. I would just grab some like fucking black shit, put it on my face. I had a little, you know, hobo hat I used to wear. And now they're saying that it's inappropriate. They're like, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like, are you kidding me? You know, like, are we just going to this whole point is it's a costume. Who gives a shit? But we're appropriating homeless culture. I mean, I don't know. So, I guess, what was your most memorable Halloween?
As a kid or an adult?
Either. Besides me throwing your mom's Charleston shoe.
Hilarious. Honestly, the year I dressed up as Michael Jackson, that was...
Wait, doesn't that every year?
Nah, all right. I had a run where I dressed up as a famous black entertainer for 4 consecutive years. Michael Jackson kickstarted that one. And this was while he was alive. When the year he died, everyone started dressing up like him.
Wait, so you made it specific that the person had to be black that you were dressing up at? I just want to analyze this.
Yeah,
you're the original. So you're doing blackface every year with a different costume.
I didn't need to do.
With Michael, it was whiteface.
No, I was Thriller Mike. Look, the next year I did MC Hammer. The worst mistake I ever did because it was freezing cold. I had my chest all out and shit like that with the gold chain.
Did you wear skids?
What skids?
Those baggy ass pants, skids.
Yeah. I just call them hammer pants. Yeah, I rock that shit.
You know, Jay, when they say appropriating black culture, I think that this is literally the definition.
Man,
Is someone? Well, let me ask you this: were you, were you fair to the other races? Did you ever dress up as some Indian?
nah, no. But do you know the weirdest one I had was I don't know. You might have been there, Rags. We were in JC. I dressed up. I bought like an Arab. I like the chic outfit, so I brought it. And some chick comes up to me to ask me if I'm Muslim. I was like, nah, why? She's like, well, you're culturally appropriated. Her and her college friend just gave me this fucking. I was so confused. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? My Muslim friend Khalid loved the fucking outfit.
Bro,
I'm like,
I would have just been happy a chick's talking to me. If you remember when we were younger, being like Arab was cool at some point, right? It wasn't like
when the hell was
now.
When the hell was that? When the hell was that?
Because in the media, Arabs were either portrayed as princes or these very rich people, and they always had like a couple, maids or they always had help, and they were always rolling in crazy whips with the outfit you were wearing, right? I mean, so listen, that was the thing. I didn't until like 9/11. I don't think it was like terrorism was somewhat associated, but it wasn't what it is now associated with brown people, right? I mean, it was never cool to be Indian. Let me make sure I put that in there. I mean, what's weird is around the world, people respect Indians because of Bollywood. Now, we don't have that same. We have more respect now for it in Hollywood than we used to, but never did Indians get any respect.
Never.
So that's why you didn't dress up as an Indian. You were like, matter of fact, you're like, I'm going to dress up as an Arab. And that was after 9/11, though.
What Indian would anyone recognize? The only one I could think of that anyone would recognize if I dressed up as Gandhi. Like,
Gandhi, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't dress up as Shah Rukh Khan.
I'm surprised because I figured you would literally be the guy that dresses up as Gandhi.
I would reckon Americans or like Caucasian kids would have gotten a kick out of it if you wore a turban and you were like a Sardar guy.
Punjabi, that would be appropriating. I think if you put a turban on, you could be appropriating like Sikhism, right? I mean, as a joke. Now, I guess as a costume, it's respectful. Like, so that's why that you could dress up as anything you want, right? And I'm thinking, like, okay, this year, what will be the famous costumes? Every year we have, famous costumes. Before I look at, let me just go into this and we'll go back to the other thing. Like, so I'm thinking, Diddy will be a costume this year, pretty big costume, right? I mean, it has to be. I'm thinking Kamala Harris, Trump, right? What other costumes?
So I was at a Halloween party I was in AC over the weekend. So I did see there's a huge Halloween party. It's funny though, there's a lot of Beetlejuices because Beetlejuice 2 came out. I saw a lot of Joker and Harley Quinn couple combos, a shitload of those.
God. See, and like everyone's talking shit about this flick and they're still dressing up as it. It don't make any sense. Are you guys dressing up this year?
No, I hardly ever dress up.
I don't dress up.
I'm a party pooper when it comes to Halloween.
And this is why I don't dress up because my friends don't dress up no more. So
yeah, it's like what the fuck.
Otherwise, yeah, it still is my favorite holiday.
You could still dress up, buddy. You don't have to. Who gives a shit about what your friends do? Dress up, buddy. You want to dress like an MJ every single year? But be my guest.
Yeah, but that's when we're all going out to Empire together and.
You could do different MJ versions. You could do Jerry Cole MJ. You could do Fro MJ. You could do Pale MJ. You could do Dark MJ. Wide Nose MJ. Little Nose MJ. There's like an MJ for every year. You could do the Crooked Nose MJ too.
Wait, so actually, what's funny is Jay, I think the year you were an Arab, I was there, right?
It was in Jersey City.
Wait, was that the year I was Kenny Powers? Because that was my favorite year. I was Kenny Powers. I was totally in character the whole night. It was so much fun, bro. You know how many more chicks I was actually like talking with because I was just talking to everybody and they were going along with it. They were loving it. I remember at some point at that night, we're going back 20 years. I remember at some point going into a porta potty. Were you at a party with me where you had to go to the porta potties? I remember doing blow in a porta potty for some reason that year, 20 years ago. My God.
Dark in there?
As Kenny Powers. That's another thing. It's dark in there. It's really challenging.
What is it? What is it about Halloween that brings that out of us? Like you've we feel like we got to be in character, and then it just brings a whole other element of your personality that you may not even know existed in you, and all of a sudden you're in complete rare form. And as you said, Rags, you were all over the place with the women, and things were going good for you that night. What is it about Halloween that brings that whole persona out of us? What is it?
I mean, it's just the fact that we want, we always want to fantasize, right? We always wonder what life is like in other people's shoes, right? We always think, hey, I never want to be anybody else, but I wonder what their life is. Again, it's just about, like when I watched the show Eastbound and Down, I was like, this guy's a great character, right? We kind of see pieces of ourselves in these characters, right?
Yep.
But I guess that's my answer.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you something. That year I dressed up as Michael Jackson. Ask Adnan. He was with me because I was chilling in his New York apartment. We went to Dwayne Reed. I was approached by this chick at Dwayne Reed. Said I had the best costume that she's ever seen. Wanted to take a picture with me. We're in the subway station. A group of black chicks. They get so excited that I'm in Michael Jackson Thriller. And what's it called? They asked me if I could do a dance. So I do like the little Michael Jackson moonwalk and shit like that. And everyone started going crazy. Like I was literally approached like on every single block.
Well, you figure it's like a common costume too, right?
But this is what I'm saying. This was before he had died. Like Michael Jackson wasn't the thing anymore. You know what I mean? For years and years. Like,
but wait,
he was a joke at that point in some people.
At that point, yeah.
Wait a minute. You were doing the moonwalk, Jay?
Yeah, buddy. Oh yeah, you didn't know I was nice at it?
No, I mean, I can't picture it at all. I mean, you were actually good at it. I mean,
yeah, bro. I taught as AKV. I should.
Rags, can you validate this?
I somewhat remember it because I feel like I've seen you do Michael. Wasn't there another event that you did Michael Jackson at? Something. I seen you do some dance, Michael Jackson, but I forgot where. It wasn't Halloween though.
I mean, that's the only time I dress up. But your brothers know. Like, they see me do it since I was a kid. Like, I taught my whole 5th grade class how to do the moonwalk. I've been doing it since. Yeah. I've done it at weddings all the time and shit like that too. You probably have seen me. That used to be my thing, like, whenever we used to go out, and this shit used to come on. Your brothers used to egg me on.
Now you got to dress like Michael Jackson again, and then do the moonwalk all over again.
I still got the Thriller jacket downstairs. I'll break that out, and I got the Jerry curl wig.
Everyone had a Thriller jacket back in the day, right? Everybody. I mean, I'd never forget that. It was like a rite of passage as an American, bro. You had to have the Thriller jacket, and you had the black one and the red one, right?
Yeah, the black and white and the
I got the black one. Everybody got the black one usually. Dose, what was your favorite year of Halloween?
I'm bored when it comes to Halloween, man. I'm a boring cat, man. There's nothing really. I stopped getting dressed up after like when I'm 14 or 15 years old.
Really?
I stopped getting I stopped getting dressed.
Yeah. I thought there might be a few years, like even at Rutgers Newark.
I never got dressed at Rutgers Newark ever. I went to the parties.
I was too poor to dress.
I went to the parties. I went to the parties, tried to sell some swag in the parties, and that was it.
When did Halloween, at some point, because I remember when I was growing up, even when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, Halloween was still like a holiday that wasn't a slut holiday. And now I think at some point, one of the years, just women started dressing so provocatively. And so,
I would say mid to late 90s, like late 90s from what I can recall for me.
I feel like it was a few years after that where even then I feel like women would, dress sexy. But at some point, it's just out of control now, right? I mean, Jay, you were in AC this weekend. You must have seen so much skin.
My God, I come off the elevator. I turn to my left, like 3 girls, ass completely out. Like, I didn't even know what their outfits was. I just saw ass. Like, it was just crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I think women aren't afraid to show their butt anymore, right? It used to be taboo.
One woman said to me, I would say maybe 10 years ago or so, all right, that this is, and this is not verbatim, but she essentially used the words, it's the one time I'm allowed to dress like a slut.
It's accepted. I mean, at no point did they ever let us know. All of a sudden, we would just see it, and I'd be like, wow, this is crazy, bro. And again, listen, they're sexy, but it's got to be weird, like, when you have a kid, and you're like, shit, I hope my daughter doesn't dress like that, right? That's a tough moment as a man, because you're like, well, you don't care what your boys do because it's just like a hypocritical world. But I guess I would. If my son dressed like a slut, I'd be pissed off too. Wouldn't you? Yeah. I'm sure there's a man out there with a gay son. His son went out with a fucking leotard with his balls hanging out the side of it. He's like, bro, tuck your balls in, bro. I'm sure there's a gay guy that wore a leotard, right? At some point, right? Kind of for a Halloween costume.
Or like Prince and his crew. Remember that Dave Chappelle shit? He's like, the way Prince and his crew used to dress. It was like...
The parents there, they have kids their age, and they just go to a bunch of houses that are designated now because we have too many pedophiles. There's too many people handing out tainted raisins, right? We don't know what the hell you're going to get, right? So, I mean,
that's sad.
It's sad.
That's so
because
sad,
that's
man.
Like such a part of life. Look, I was actually, I'll tell you as one thing, I was questioned by the police on Halloween when I was in high school. So my dumbass, again, I was Jason a lot of years too. We were, you had the fucking hockey mask. It's easy to be Jason. So freaking, I took a real knife with me, like an actual big freaking blade knife.
Such a dickhead.
Someone told on me. Obviously. Someone called the police.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, you didn't even tape this shit up. Like, what's wrong with you? So I guess I'm the reason people don't want kids trick-or-treating. Man. But it's a different world we live in now, man. No getting lost, no adventures for these poor kids.
What in your right mind thought that was a good idea? I don't give a damn.
I wanted to, you know what I mean? Just be like, oh, I got a real knife. As a dumb kid shit. Bro, and it was a long-ass knife. Bro.
Was it high school?
It was high school or middle school. I forgot. I think maybe even middle school. Maybe it might have been middle school. Because I think in high school I just went out and just collected candy like I was, you know what I mean? Collecting checks. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't, I didn't dress up at some point. I was just an asshole. I'm like, oh, give me some candy. As Jay knows.
Yeah, that's how you came to my parents' house.
Dose, I'm surprised me and you never went trick-or-treating together. It's weird.
I know.
At that point, though, I think we probably went trick-or-treating with the people that were right around,
in our street. Right?
Yeah, our block people. Yeah,
my next door neighbors, literally is who I was going trick-or-treating with at the time.
Yeah.
And then, you're probably right about that. Yeah, it is weird how it didn't work out. And then by the time we really got tight later on in high school, we just stopped going trick-or-treating anyway.
There'd probably be house parties, right? Halloween house parties or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were more into. Or just going to Princeton or some shit like that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised. But we must have hung out on freaking Halloween at some point.
No, right? We did. I'm just saying we didn't go trick-or-treating.
No, so I'm just trying to figure. It's crazy how much shit I forget, man. All right, enough of Halloween. Enjoy your Halloween. Be safe out there. And look at them ladies. Enjoy the view. It's probably going to get crazier and crazier. That's the crazy. Like, what will Halloween be like in 20 years, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. It'll probably be just like bikinis at that point, right? Just like nothing. Nothing.
Pretty much.
Just a couple of stars on the titty, right? By then. So let's talk about what you mentioned, Dose. Tony Hinchcliffe, pretty well-known comedian. He has a show called Kill Tony. It's on YouTube. I heard he was going to be getting a deal with Netflix. I honestly hope this doesn't interrupt that deal. I just hate when people get canceled for anything, right? Look, if it's something really bad, fine. But for words coming out of someone's mouth, as someone who really does believe in free speech, and I stick to it. I really die by that because, like, for instance, I'll give you guys, some things are personal, right? My father has Parkinson's. It's a personal thing to me. But when I see a fellow comedian doing a joke about Parkinson's, I don't get offended. And I had to look at it for a moment. Like, it's always about the handshaking and making jokes about Michael Fox, whatever it is. I still say, hey, there's comedy. And again, a lot of these jokes aren't funny to me, but I still respect the fact that they're allowed to talk about it, right? I think we also remember that person, that comedian might not really feel that way about that subject. They're just making a joke, right? I've made jokes before plenty of times where people have been offended. And to me, Tony Hinchcliffe, I don't agree with what he said. I've been to Puerto Rico. I have Puerto Rican friends. They're going through a displacement over there. Yes, it's a serious issue. He made a joke, though. he's not insulting Puerto Ricans. He's not trying to lose them as fans. I mean, the comedian doesn't want to lose fans. He wants you to just have a laugh, right? That's literally all he wants. That's his style of comedy. Trump probably didn't do his homework and just had him. He was on Joe Rogan last week. Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe are very good friends. That's how Tony Hinchcliffe got connected with Donald Trump, obviously. And he's a roast comedian. Look, when people make fun of Indians, it's hard to take sometimes. Indians are dirty. Indians are smelly. Indians are cheap. Sometimes I do get angry when they say we're smelly because I don't stink. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually smell decent, right? So imagine, like, that's the way someone thinks about you just by looking at you. Yeah, it hurts. I mean, but I have actually, made friends with people who were racist and made them like Indians. So I fought it one-on-one as far as, like, fighting racism. So I understand racism might not be funny to you, but it is funny to other people. People love making fun of Indians. And again, I'd never want someone to get canceled for making fun of an Indian, right? I just think that's, it's just all the hard work someone does. It's like, I'll give you the example. I've given it on the podcast before, but I'll give it to you again. It's just because Michael Jackson might have done something, might have not done something. We don't cancel him for that reason. The man's art is different than him as a person, right? There's 10 people involved with the song, whatever. But he worked hard for so many years as a child to get where he was. So if that song makes you feel a certain way when you hear it, that's a personal thing for you and that song. And it's not Michael Jackson. You're not supporting, molesting children by enjoying his music. I don't think people understand it. By supporting a comedian like Tony Hinchcliffe, if you don't like that style of comedy, turn it off. So yes, you have that option. In the end, I mean, come on, like, Trump just didn't do his homework. The Trump team did not do their homework. They didn't vet him correctly. And that was really it. He does what he does. They make fun of black people. He did a joke about watermelon. He did it. Look, I think, like, this is his style of comedy, right? It just wasn't the right platform for it. At the end of the day, like, and you don't have to agree with it either. But the whole point is that we respect the fact that it's freedom of speech. It's what makes this country great. And yeah, that's my
yeah. So just a couple of things here, right? Number one, Trump is a funny motherfucker, bro. There was no need to hire a comedian for a Trump rally. Trump is funny as shit. He is the headliner. He doesn't need anyone for that matter, doing a set on his rally. That's my personal opinion. Now that being said, he did a 12-minute set, and in fairness to him, and Rags, I think you could relate to this as well as any one of us over here, but I have an idea as well. That was not the exact ideal platform for comedy right there, right? Like, when you're in a wrong platform. Like, remember we did some shows back in the day, and maybe you've done some recently too, for all I know, where, like, well, this isn't really the kind of atmosphere at a platform to have an effective comedy show, or the acoustics are bad, or whatever the case is, right? Yeah. In all fairness to him, what I observed is this: you mentioned the watermelon jokes, fine. He did a watermelon joke, getting on black people, Latino jokes. He did a Palestinian joke about throwing rocks. He did a Jew joke about throwing money down to Gaza or whatever. And you know what? Stereotypical jokes, they're funny. They're stereotypes for a fucking reason, okay? I found it interesting, though, because, Rags, you've done other stereotypical jokes. I've seen all kinds of comedians that do it, and I think they're hilarious. But one thing in common that most comedians have is they also get on their own race as much as they get on the other races, too. I found it interesting that he didn't get on his own race. He didn't get on Caucasians.
He is very self-deprecating. I know his humor very well. Very self-deprecating. Look, he didn't make fun of white people because I think it's white people. Look, I think they do get there's a lot of jokes made around white people, right? So maybe he didn't make them that night because his crowd is majority white. I don't know, right? I think that if he was smart, he would have done jokes about Kamala and Trump, and that's it, right? That's what the people are there for. Literally, when he did the joke about a Diddy party, they love that joke, right? Did you see that one?
Yeah, he did do that. That was the one that got the most applause. That and the Nancy Pelosi joke got the most applause in that 12-minute set.
That's
you have done sets where it's predominantly Desi or South Asian or Indian crowds, and did a bunch of stereotypical Indian type jokes, and got everyone to laugh to the point where, well, there's a lot of Caucasians in the crowd. Is that implying that Caucasians can't laugh at their own kind of stereotypes?
I think that he was smart because he wouldn't have got a laugh off it. You get what I'm saying? If he made fun of white people, they would have just booed. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have understood it. They're like, why are you making fun of us? We're here to support you.
True. But what's interesting is his funniest punchlines were non-stereotypical. They're just different kind of punchlines.
Yeah, he's a lot better comedian than that shows. I want to be clear about that. The guy he's funny. He's funny, man. He's very funny. Let's not take away from his sense of humor. He grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. He grew up with a single mom, Italian dude. You know, his father, he now has a relationship with him. He's like some mobster, some connected with them on some type of organized crime or something. But I think that, look, I don't think he shies away from making fun of white people either. He does it all the time. He just didn't do it that day because he knew we're trying to pump the crowd up, right? And I don't know why he would make some of those other jokes about, you know, look, Latino people like to have children, right? It's not that funny. It's hacky, right? At the end of the day,
it was hacky.
It's a hacky joke.
They're all hacky jokes.
If you're talking about, look, he roasts Indians so hard. In other shows I've seen of his, right? So I think that we have to remember Tony Hinchcliffe is friends with every single race. Like, as far as I've seen, he's friends with black people. He's friends with Latino people. He's friends with Indian people. Look, they're comedians. So I know he's not a racist deep down. It's just his style of humor. And I think a lot of comedians now are trying to push this boundary because of the fact that people say you can't, right? So we have to remember that as well. That's a big part of that.
At the end of the day, I don't want him to get canceled, and I don't think he will get canceled. It was a 12-minute set.
He won't.
It wasn't that great. Move on.
They tried to cancel him already. You know that.
I know that. But I hope he doesn't get officially canceled.
Well, as long as people are buying tickets, they can't cancel you. Remember that, right? I just hope he gets his Netflix deal because he worked hard for many years. He's got a great show.
I'm sure he worked very hard to get to where he is today. I don't think he'll be canceled. I think this will pass. And even if the left really, really pushes to cancel him, the right's going to come. The right's going to come on his defense, and I think it'll all balance out at the end of the day. I don't think he'll get canceled, and I hope he does not get canceled.
I don't look. I think we've already heard about it. I think the thing he has in play, he can't cancel Kill Tony because it's filmed at Joe Rogan's club. Joe Rogan's like his best friend. He's not going to stop doing it there at the Comedy Mothership in Austin, Texas. He gets he's getting millions and millions of views on it. People are going to arenas. They're going to comedy clubs. They're buying tickets, right? So, I mean, you cannot take this guy off the air, regardless, right?
Now, have you crossed paths or worked with him in the past?
No, but I've been at the Comedy Store when he's been there, but I haven't even officially ever met him, but I was actually there when he used to film the show here in Los Angeles. So... yeah, I mean, look, I've met Red Band, the other guy who does Kill Tony. Kill Tony's a fantastic show. I recommend it to everybody that is a comedy fan, stand-up comedy fan. It's a chance to see, young comedians, up-and-comers, seasoned comedians who go on the show and are kind of evaluated by Tony and then two guest stars, usually, very famous comedians. So I really hope he does not get. I know a lot of people are like off in his head if you go to the show and support it. Bro, shut the fuck up.
So I actually got a comment I made online based on that got a lot of people like heated. So I basically, in response to that, I posted, he's a comedian, ... relax. Okay. Like, people were going in uproar about it. And someone, to your point, Dose, one lady chimed in and said, but no white jokes, huh? And in my head, I'm thinking he's probably made white jokes in the past. He might not have done it that particular day, but he might have made plenty of white jokes in the past. It's like, he's a comedian. This is what they do.
Bro, he's literally, it's a majority white crowd, and he just didn't do a white joke. Maybe he just look.
And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. That's his prerogative, and I don't hold that against him. I'm just saying, optically speaking, you're giving another reason for the left to get
let me put, but yeah, exactly. But let's also remember, Tony Hinchcliffe was almost canceled for, this twice before, not even once, twice. And you know what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said chink after comedian he introduced, that introduced him. He came up to stage as a headliner. He called him a chink, and he also almost got canceled for the Kobe Bryant thing. I don't know. That was Ari Shaffir. So he got canceled. You didn't know about the cancellation before?
Nah. The first time I heard him was on the Tom Brady roast, where I thought he did he was edgy as hell, and I thought he killed it on the Tom Brady roast.
And listen, he's a roast comedian. But going back to it, he has helped so many comedians. He's helped female comedians. The most he's helped, I think, as far as the numbers go, he's helped a lot of female comedians who have careers today because of Tony Hinchcliffe. I'm not saying they're not funny, but he helped start their careers. He helped propel them. Latino comedians, black comedians. His band, he's got black people in it. Like he makes they're sitting behind him on the show Kill Tony, and he makes jokes about them, right? And look, sometimes they don't like it. Right? Sometimes they don't like it, but they accept it, right? Because it's a joke. Trust me, he's been plenty fun of white people. He's not afraid of making fun of white people. I don't want people to think that. And look, he just didn't do it. Some of the jokes were hacky, yes, and he just didn't do it on a platform that those jokes are meant for, right? So,
and a couple other two other comments I got. One dude's like, obviously saw our podcast thing all over my Instagram profile. He's like, "What are you, Indian?" He's like, "If he made fun of Indians, how would you feel? I bet you wouldn't let him get away with it." And dude basically called me a clown. And I responded to him. I was like, honestly, I wouldn't give two fucks. I got bigger problems to worry about than a comedian making racial jokes. And then he responded and said, if we let him slide on don't make him apologize, if we let him slide, then they'll never realize. I was like, come on, man.
You got to remember, stereotypes are stereotypes. They're always going to be funny. Yeah, they can be hacky, but they're going to be funny. So next time someone says a black dude has a big dick, it's still a stereotype, but it's a positive one, right? Next time when they say, "Oh, Indians, y'all own all the 7-Eleven," that's a fucking compliment.
But it's only bad with the black dick if there's a black dude that has a small dick, because whoever he's with is expecting something different.
He's a minority. He's a minority against minority.
That's one of the best stereotypes out there, though.
But listen, every black guy can have a big dick, right? It's genetics. But yeah, anyway, it's got to be tough as a black man who enters, into a dating situation with a woman, and they've got a lot of pressure on them, bro. I mean, as an Indian, they're not expecting us to have something. So when we got something, it's like surprise. They're happy, right? For a black man, it's like, I can imagine him, taking his piece out and. Yeah, it sucks. It's like stereotypes work in so many different ways. And listen, and have I ever been offended when someone's called me a terrorist? No. Have I ever been offended if someone said you're smelly, dirty? Because that's just like insults, right? And I think, a lot of our people don't wear deodorant. It's a different culture. Get used to the fact that there's people come from different backgrounds who lived in very poor places, and it's just not part of the culture. They have money now, a lot of them. But listen, I'm sure a lot of them wear deodorant. Look, I'll put it this way. People can go to Somalia, right? People don't wear deodorant there. So they would have the same criticisms about them.
Yeah, but Rex, you know what? On top of that, to validate your point even more, there are cultures in first world countries that just don't wear deodorant. I mean, like in Europe, okay, it's really a lot more common around globally than we realize over here.
And this is a culture thing. People don't want to smell your funk here, right? And the fact is that if we've all had days we forget to put our deodorant on, right? Or we're just not leaving the house, so we don't maybe put it on that day. And, I think the thing with me is it'll be about 2 days before you can start smelling me, right? So I have to not shower for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand how these motherfuckers smell so bad to begin with. If you're working in an environment where you're close to people, no one wants to smell bad smell, right? Nobody, right? And listen, when someone smells something bad, it means a particle of that thing got into your nose. You realize that, right? That means that smell entered your body, right? So I get why people want you to wear deodorant. It's just a common courtesy and respect.
But the thing is, I think for them, they don't realize that smell is offensive. Like they're used to it. For them, it's normal. That's the problem. You know, they're just not educated where.
They're used to that smell now.
Exactly.
Right?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
They don't even smell it. They're so used to it. They just swim all over that shit.
In 5th grade, my teacher came up to me, Mr. Calora, Dutch Neck School in New Jersey, came up to me. He's like, "Hey, tell your parents to go buy some deodorant." Now, can you imagine a young, little, chubby Indian kid? And I didn't get offended. I literally went home. I'm like, Mom and Dad, what is deodorant? You know, like, I got to get me some. And you look, I didn't want to smell regardless. And I never thought I smelled, right? Because I wasn't aware. So sometimes you just might not be aware. You got a little stink.
I had to talk to a direct report about their personal hygiene when I was I had just finished college, but I was still working on a college job.
Well, because you gotta wonder, yeah. You gotta.
How'd you approach it? Wait, how'd you approach that, Dose? I'm very curious. How'd you broach that subject?
I said you really ought to start prioritizing personal hygiene as much as you possibly can, for the sake of everyone here.
What? How'd that person react to it?
He was embarrassed, embarrassed but thankful. Embarrassed but thankful I was up front.
And he should be embarrassed, God damn it, because this is the culture here. This is the society we live in, and you should smell good, right? Why should you smell like shit?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't take offense. Look, if someone told me I had a boogie in my nose or something in my teeth or something, like, tell me.
I want to know.
Bro, you should have just sent him a fucking link to a degree commercial. Bro, I mean, but like, okay, like, what is more offensive? Someone stinking up the room or someone saying they smell, right? If someone actually smells, I don't think it's wrong to say, they stink. But, and there's plenty of Indians like that. It's an embarrassing thing, but I just want people to understand it's not because Indians are dirty to their core, which is what people think. It's because it's the culture they come from. It's India. Mm-hmm. And remember, it's not just Indians. It's Pakistani. It's Bangladeshi. It's every single brown country.
A lot of third world countries.
And it's the food. And it's the food we eat too. By
correct.
The way.
Yeah. Which makes us sweat more. Yeah. The climate, all that shit is a factor. 100%.
When I eat Chinese food, when I eat a lot of Chinese food, my wife can't stand being around me. She said, "You smell like just Chinese food." Just from your pores.
But Rags, you want to know what adds to that? That people get their education on Indian food from TikTok videos where they take the street food where hygiene is not like obviously, and they think all Indian people eat like that, like, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, "Oh, I'm never going to India or I'm never eating Indian food," because this is what they associate with Indians.
Oh, people are keyboard gangsters, bro. Because all I see when I see videos like that and I see people really shitting on Indians, I see this comment a lot: "Delete India." Well. And it's funny, that dumbass is on a computer doing that. And he probably wouldn't be able to have this technology without Indians. And look, Indians have our faults, bro. Every race does. Every single race has fucked up things about it. Every single race has great things about it. It's so funny to think that like literally people just that angry at themselves deep down, right? That they got to take it out on you. And I get it. If your coworker stinks, what are you going to do? You're going to have to they're going to have to talk to the guy. If you get in an Uber and your Indian driver, it smells like, he just had sex in the car, that's your choice. If you see an Indian driver, choose another one, right? We have the option. We can cancel our ride and get a white driver or get a black driver, right? We have these options in life. So, if you get I'm sure there's a big chance you're going to get an Indian driver, by the way. So you might as well just accept it. But again, let me ask you, this is a good question for you. How many times you've been in a car, in an Uber with an Indian driver? A lot, right? How many times did it smell bad?
No, I haven't noticed.
I mean, a few times it has, yes. And I'll smell it on the subway. I've smelled it on the train, whatever. But it's very small percentage compared to what is being made it look like. I mean, so... Sure. It's so funny. It's just, anyway, we're talking about Tony Hinchcliffe, and he made a bad joke about Puerto Ricans. And what's crazy? It shows how far we've come as a society, is that he bombed those jokes, right? I think that's the real thing we should be talking about. Those jokes bombed. So a majority white people who are Trumpers, they didn't laugh at that. Most of them didn't. And that's a good thing to me. That means as a society we're growing, right? The watermelon joke didn't get the response he was looking for. So in the end of the day, people, we're getting better. We're getting less racist as a society as time moves on. I think we have to acknowledge that. I don't think people are acknowledging that. Like, that's important. Is that they were like, they liked the Diddy joke. They liked the Nancy Pelosi joke.
He was saying how Elon Musk is one of the smartest people in the world, and he would listen to everything he would say. Instead, when I listen to stock trading, that's when I listen to Nancy Pelosi. And everyone got a laugh out of that one.
And again, that's based on reality. She's an inside trader, and he's pretty smart. It's just a weird society we live in right now. And I honestly think there's still plenty of racism. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, God, yeah.
We have got, 20 years ago, we come a long way, man. And I don't think Trump wants to be racist. I think Trump might be a little racist, of course. Yes, deep down he's racist, most likely. Because he grew up in privileged white society, right? A lot of those people kind of look down on minorities because they have money, right? So they just think that they're better. I think it's more of a money thing, right?
I don't put anything past him. I don't necessarily. Maybe he has some racism in him. Maybe not. I don't know. Here's what I do think. There are those that feel like if you vote for Trump, that means you're automatically racist. I don't agree with that. I didn't agree with that in 2016. I didn't agree with it in 2020. I don't necessarily agree with it now either. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that if you vote for Trump, you're automatically racist, is what I'm trying to say.
No. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. I mean, look at the crowd. They did not laugh at those jokes, right? Yeah. So they're not. Those people aren't racist. I'm not really sure those jokes. Look, he said Latin people like to have a lot of children. Every fucking race likes to have a lot of children, right? It's just like the deodorant thing. If there's not one person in the world, except I think Koreans have the gene, where if you don't wear deodorant for a few days, you're not going to start smelling, right? That's a human being thing. So,
just to piggyback off what you said, Dose, I think fundamentally, like, none of us and will never judge anyone or anyone's character by who the fuck they vote for. Vote for whoever the fuck you want. It doesn't tell me any more or less about you as a person. Exactly. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and I think listen, I got into an argument with someone because I said I might be voting for Jill Stein. And they thought I was the biggest idiot in the world. It's like, are you really going to judge me because of a box I'm going to check on a fucking ballot? Come on. I don't know who to vote for. I still don't know. We're a week from Election Day, and I have no idea who to vote for. None. I have zero idea who to vote for. Zero. Okay? It's a week away, bro, and I don't know who to vote for. That's how confused I am.
Well, maybe by our next recording, you'll have an idea.
Wait, Coach, are you guys having an election party? When is it? Next week or some shit?
What?
Like, you never heard about these election parties?
Yeah, no, that I'm not into it that way.
I was at a bar. I was at an election party at a bar in 2016 when Trump won, and it was the most depressing because everybody was like, Hillary. It was Yeah, I mean, look, I remember some pivotal moments throughout our life, right? When Obama was elected, I just remember the feeling in the air, walking around. It was just like, wow, we did it. And I do remember when Trump was elected in 2016, it was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
If you remember, it was a huge shock because every single poll had Hillary winning, like, easily. And then when Trump turned that shit, people were like, this really happened? Like,
I just want this shit to pass already. I want November 5th to hurry up and get here and we can move on with our lives.
I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared either way, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't obviously, like, I'm scared as far as war is concerned. I'm not scared of my everyday life, right? But I do see our world is in a very weird place as far as the way people are being killed, what people are being killed for. All right, let's
move on to the next.
Jill Stein, baby. Jill Stein,
baby.
Green Party.
I think anytime you have someone else with ideas that comes to the table, it's a good thing in a democracy. So if we get 5% of the vote as an independent party, it means that their candidate in 4 years gets to debate, which is a huge thing. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say. Go out there, do what you got to do. If you don't want to vote, fuck it, don't vote. But live your life. You're going to
be like Rags. Don't vote.
Different. Exactly. It's not going to be any different tomorrow than it is today, November 5th, than it is November 4th, hopefully.
Sometimes I dream he is
you
me.
You guys got anything to say about the election? You guys have you guys decided your vote?
Damn, it's leaning, but I don't really.
I'm voting Kamala. I'm not gonna lie. I'm voting Kamala, and I'm and I have my reservations. I'm not exactly proud of it. I'm not gonna rock around with a fucking blue fucking Kamala sign or anything like that. It's just the less of two.
You ain't even gonna tell people you voted. You're so embarrassed.
Look, I got a red hat on right now, for crying out loud.
Look, I think, in the end of the day, we're heading into the unknown. Whether you vote Kamala or Trump, we're headed into the unknown. And let me tell you, the wars don't stop. So we're a war machine, and you still got to go to work.
I'm gonna go up in that poll with my trucker's hat, and I'm gonna talk like that. I'm gonna say, "America, motherfucker, God, fuck yeah!"
I voted. I'm gonna vote. I have my absentee ballot, so I'm not going to go into the poll. I'm not going to actually go in there. But do me a favor and take a hit of your vape while you're in that bitch and you're making your check boxes, because that's a real American move, brother. Hit that vape. Taste that freedom, literally.
Damn right.
Give us the proud to be an American.
Proud to be an American.
There we go. Good show, guys.
All right, fellas.
Don't forget to check us out. A Dose of Rags, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Follow us on YouTube, our channel. Also, catch us full episodes. X. Thank you very much, Jay. Yes, X, of course, a.k.a. Twitter. Full episodes available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Thanks very much, everybody.
Peace.